So folks, what you see here is four 100 amp hour lithium Battle Born batteries built in Reno, Nevada. They were purchased in approximately October time period and installed shortly thereafter. Self-installed. They replaced 408, I believe, amp hour flooded lead acid batteries that came from the factory. The flooded lead acids were 6 volts. These, of course, are 12 volts. As you can see, I've got 4-aught cable that runs from them to the inverter. It's a Magnum MS 2012, I believe. It's runs the fridge and a 110 circuit currently. As you can see, the wall right there to the right is where on the other side of that wall is where the flooded lead acid batteries were originally. The cables ran from there into this compartment for the Magnum inverter. So I just pulled those cables back through the hole and sealed the hole up and kept everything right here in this compartment, with the exception of the charge controller, which we'll go over a little later. You'll see there's some other wires back there. I've got the fuses still back there, appropriate size fuses. These other wires that you're seeing, these smaller ones, most of them are for some LED lights we'll go over on another video. Right there is the Magnum BMK battery monitor, which I installed with the batteries. It's the lower left shunt. That shunt seems to be working okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. It shows 100% a lot sooner than this Victron that I recently installed. I installed the Victron about 2 weeks ago, and I'll go over a review on that. That's the Bluetooth adapter for it, so I can review it from my phone. The Victron is the top right shunt, but it seems to be working a little better than the Magnum did. You see I've got the battery strapped down so that they don't move around and I don't have to worry about them getting damaged in transit or anything. I'll get these wires cleaned up here shortly. I've been working to install these LED lights. Overall, I'm satisfied with these 4 Battle Born batteries, and they seem to be working as advertised and so much better than a flooded lead acid battery. This is the Magnum MPPT charge controller PT100, capable of handling up to 100 amps. It is currently wired with 2-gauge wire from the roof down to here and from here to the batteries. On the roof it has 6 solar panels. 4 of them are 165 watts each and 2 are 175 watts each. Those 2 were installed just a couple weeks ago as an expansion. The panels are wired in a series parallel layout, meaning that every pair of panels is wired in a pair with a 20 amp inline fuse, and then the 3 pairs are wired in parallel down to the box through a combiner bar up in the box on the roof, which I'll show you a picture of later. As you can see, there's also a yellow wire that runs from here over to the Magnum inverter and control panel, and they all network together and they communicate and they share information, which is awesome, which is why I got this one. There are some downsides to this one that I found after I got it and during installation. One is the fact that it has to be installed in this vertical orientation due to the cooling features that are built into it. This orientation makes it difficult to find a space in an existing compartment with the batteries due to its height and ventilation requirements above it. Overall, not too difficult to install and is working great. It's running around 37, 38, 39 volts on a daily basis is what I'm getting out of my panels, which is right on spec, so no issues there. The charge controller, as you noticed earlier, is it's got breakers at the roof and in this compartment, as well as the shutoff switches. It's also got a shutoff switch over there on the inverter side that kills it from the inverter. Overall, it's a I'm thoroughly satisfied. The downsides is the monitoring capabilities is limited to the panel in the RV. They don't have any internet or very little internet capability. They've got an adapter which is quite expensive to buy to add it to give it internet access, but it doesn't provide a lot of functionality from what I understand and isn't worth the expense. The next thing we'll look at is the control panel in the RV. The control panel is one that I've upgraded. Originally, this one came with the small little square. I believe it's the RC50, and this is the ARC250, I believe. I'll post links to the actual items down below. This panel, as you can see, it shows 100% and it's only like 10 o'clock in the morning. Panels are doing a great job. This panel is pretty good. It's got a lot of functionality in it, and it's easy to navigate, which is why I upgraded. The original one was not easy to navigate on. The original one didn't have as much capability as this one. The downside to this controller and these devices is they're not set up for lithium batteries. The settings are only for AGMs or flooded lead acid. So that's pretty much it for the controller. We'll go ahead and jump up on the roof. I'll go over these panels. I've got two 175 watts there at the front and the four 165 watts along the left side. You'll notice my 165 watts are on tilt mounts and the 175s are not. I did tilt mounts originally, and I've used them I think twice, so I didn't want to do tilt mounts on those front ones, especially with them being so close to the front edge with the wind driving down the road. I didn't want to grab them, rip them off or something. Because as many of you know, these roofs are not very thick, and the screws and stuff that we use to hold them on, although they've done good so far, I'm not super confident in their ability. These panels, the four 165s do sit kind of high up off the roof. I'm a little disappointed in that, but the tilt mounts I used are kind of tall, and then the way they sat on the rubber roof I didn't like, so I added some feet underneath them, which made them sit that much higher. On the right side of the RV, you'll see that white box about halfway down with the black wires. That's where That's where my combiner bar is, and also the breaker. Before it goes down behind the refrigerator down to the compartment with the charge controller is. It's just a standard weatherproof plastic box that I used butyl tape under, die cord around, and then drilled a hole down through for the wires. So that's my system so far. Overall, I think it's performing very adequately for what I really not. If you have any comments, put them in the comments below, and as always, subscribe.